Hello, my name is David Cadiz, and today I'm here to present my topic, literary devices. At the, e- at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to identify the literary devices used in poetry, understand their meaning, and how to differentiate the similar literary devices that are used. So first up, what is literary devices? Well, by the definition itself, it's used to convey meaning and allows us to appreciate, interpret, or analyze a literary work. Figurative language is also included in this, and what does it mean to be exactly? Well, figurative language is meaning beyond literal meaning. Think of it as figurative speech or connotation. An example would be the detonation is the literal meaning. For example, a rose. By denotation, it will give the meaning of the plant itself. But if it's connotation, they will go beyond the literal meaning and say that rose is the symbol of love. That is what figurative language is. Now, finally understanding both the meaning of both literary devices and figurative language, let's talk about the umbrella term of literary devices. Though recommended that this is only scratching the surface of literary devices, I recommend you all to do your research because there are many literary devices in it. So let's start with something. Let's start. Simile and metaphor. They both similar, similar, do something similar. They both do comparison to one another. The difference is simile requires the use of the words like or as. For example, he ran as fast as a jaguar. Well, for metaphor, it doesn't need to. So example would be his patience is as a bomb, short fuse and ready to blow up. So these are ways to differentiate between these two. Next up is hyperbole and personification. Hyperbole is obvious exaggeration or overstatement. An example would be, I was dying of laughter. He was not being literally dying of laughing. He was exaggerating that he was laughing so hard he feels like he was dying. It's more of an exaggeration. While for personification, it's when writers want to give animals or objects human qualities. An example would be the flowers dance to the wind, or the cat laughed. Next is onomatopoeia and imagery. Onomatopoeia is words that imitate the sound it represents. So think of a taser, those electric weapons that's meant for stunning. You know how they shoot electricity? Well, this example would be like zap. This is an example of onomatopoeia. Next is imagery. It's when the reader wants to make the reader vivid of image. So it requires to use the five senses. So example would be the smell reminds him of home. This is one of the five senses it's using to create imagery. Next up, foreshadowing. It's a hint of what may happen in the future. Example, it was dark and stormy night. This foreshadows trouble, dangers, and mayhap. While for alliteration, it's repetition of consonant sound in the words that starts in the beginning. Example would this is think of tongue twisters. Example would be she sells seashells by the seashore. Next is allusion and paradox. Allusion is casual reference to famous historical events, literary figures. Examples, delicious foods or my kryptonite. Kryptonite is a famous literary figure, aka Superman. For paradox, it reveals something true which at first seems contradictory. It is when two words that may contradict one another reveal something true. This is more wisdom. For example, less is more. Next is symbolism and idiom. Symbolism uses an object or an action that has more meaning than its literal meaning. Example would be a suitcase representing travels or a long journey, or light to represent enlightenment. For idiom, it's use an expression with meaning different from the literal meaning of the words. This is specific to certain languages. For example, the price of this car is going to cost me an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg is an example of an idiom, which means expensive. Next is oxymoron and euphemism. Oxymoron is two opposite terms. Think of virtual reality. It's when two words that contradicts one another create another word. While for euphemism, it is a way to replace that one word to something more polite because of that word being way too direct, unpleasant, or maybe embarrassing. Example would be let go equals fired or pass away equals died. Next is cliche and pun. Cliche is when an expression has been used so much that it just loses its power. Example could be easy as pie or happily ever after. Pun is more humorous and it's mostly on play on words. It often gives more meaning than it seems. Example could be a bicycle can't stand on its own because it's too tired. But it's more on play on words. Next is anaphora and assonance. Anaphora is deliberate repetition of the first part of the sentence. This is in order to achieve an artistic effect. Example could be you is kind, you is smart, and you is important. Or I came, I saw, I conquered. Next is assonance, which is vowels that are being repeated instead of the consonants. An example would be hear the mellow wedding bells, a repetition of the vowel E. Now, you may be wondering why are we even learning literary devices and why does it matter? Well, literary devices is important because it adds more emphasis to the phrase. It gives it more emotion. It also allows emotion and even mood, and even gives us insight on on how the author words it out. Without it, literary works would be plain and sometimes boring. In turn, readers would not enjoy it. Giving literary devices giving literary devices to these literary works allows the readers to enjoy the literary work that was given, but give more insight to what the author wants to tell. And in turn, gives highlighting important phrases and even makes some fun while they're at it. So, in conclusion, literary devices is an essential tool that allows words and phrases to be enhanced the poems of meanings, moods, or feelings of, and in turn, it allows literary works to make reader more enjoy and in turn make readers gravitate more into the story that's being told. For our activity, I want you all to create 3 sentences from 5 types of literary devices that was being told. Once again, thank you all for watching. Here's the reference of where I found this, and thank you all again. Bye!